Hi everyone, welcome to Values. Today we've got an exciting battery maker to look at, and this is Innovex, who's just announced a SPAC merger with Rodgers Silicon Valley acquisition, and they've got an enterprise valuation of $1.1 billion, add the cash in of $385 million. This probably just details it a bit better. So enterprise valuation $1.128 billion, and they're raising about $385 million, $175 from private investors, $230 from the SPAC, and that brings it up to around about a $1.5 billion valuation. And if you were to buy the SPAC today, the base price of this is about $14, so it's moved to about $26.82 right now, which if you brought it today, you'd be looking at a $2.9 billion valuation. Which I think is actually still really cheap. Because why is it really cheap? Because I believe it to be a much better company to invest in than a company like QuantumScape. Like, even though QuantumScape has this large potential for the technology, it's so far away that it's actually very risky as an investor to be investing in something that just doesn't have a near-term, chance of making revenue. That technology could change by then. Different risks could come in for these type of companies. So I like this kind of situation with Innovex because they've actually got products on the market, and there's a slide here. So Innovex is founded in 2007 and QuantumScape is founded in 2010, and it turns out being founded earlier actually gives them quite a bit of an advantage, which you'll see in the next few details. So firstly, Innovex is focused on silicon, and QuantumScape is focused on lithium anodes. And with silicon anodes, they figured out how to make it work really well. And there's another company called Tesla, which you probably know, is also focusing on silicon. So silicon actually has that practical use that even Tesla's looking at it. So the fact that, say, a company like Innovex is already way ahead of everyone. They say they're about 5 years ahead of the conventional battery. So that's amazing to have a company that far ahead already onto this kind of product, which a company like that we are all impressed with, say like Tesla, they're already onto it. So they've already been testing their products with customers since 2018, and in comparison, they expect to reach over 100 million in revenue 3 years earlier than QuantumScape. So being founded 3 years earlier does give you that advantage of just improving your technology and getting to the market faster. And yeah, they expect in 2023 to do $176 million. QuantumScape predicts that they will do $275 million in 2026. So yeah, by the time Innovex reaches 2025, they hope to do about 800 million, which would be more than what QuantumScape expects a year later in 2026. So that's why I kind of like Innovex a lot better, because firstly you've got that advantage of reaching the market faster, they're generating more revenue, and then also they're going to be profitable 2024, 3 years earlier than QuantumScape at 2027. So it's much nicer to be, not have to wait 3 years longer for, say, QuantumScape. So firstly, you get Innovex at 2.9 billion valuation, and you get QuantumScape at a 23 billion valuation. So already QuantumScape's already $20 billion more highly valued than Innovex on a market basis, while not necessarily being that much better. Whereas you have Innovex, who's coming to the market earlier, with a much lower valuation, hence why your reward is actually much larger in a company like Innovex, because the share price can rise a lot more quicker than QuantumScape can. And I think QuantumScape is priced for maximum success, whereas Innovex is still very new to the market. It's just announced its merger, so there's a lot of room for this company to move, especially as they get closer to production. And I think once the market realizes, hey, this company is a game changer in this industry, I don't think this pricing is going to hold down for too long, which is the exciting part when you get onto the news really quickly and you find a company still, even though it's moved up 70%, its valuation is still relatively low when compared to a company like QuantumScape, who is not producing anytime soon. So yeah, like, and the fact that Tesla's entering silicon, I think that just gives you that confirmation that this material is the next pivot in terms of battery technology. Alright, so in terms of Innovex, as I say, they've designed, developed, and sampled lithium-ion batteries with energy densities 5 years ahead of the current industry production. So that's amazing that you can have a company that's so far ahead, that in the future, once they start producing, it's just going to be significantly better. And if they were to do current sampling with batteries on the market today, they would have a 27 to 110% higher energy density than what's in the market currently. So how do they get that? So there's a slide here. So this bottom part is the conventional battery, and they have a thing called a jelly roll. And as you can kind of see by the space here, like, firstly, the jelly roll isn't really rolled up that well, like it kind of bends here and there, and then there's a lot of efficiencies and inefficiencies. And then you've also got this corner here where it doesn't really quite reach the maximum. Now you have a Enovix battery up here, and you can kind of see, like, they use this space in the best ways possible with the best density. So for basically less space, they can actually do more than twice the capacity of a conventional battery. So you can kind of see that technology is amazing, isn't it? That you can, yeah, like, basically change it up, same size battery or smaller, and you can actually improve the density by quite a large amount. So that's kind of what they mean by 27 to 110% high energy density based on the different type of batteries. So you've got different size batteries, of course. And basically they've got 44 orders to 20 customers on 4 products. And their customers have sampled their products, they're happy about the products, and they've placed orders. So that's the amazing thing, that the battery's actually been tested, customers are really happy with it, they are placing orders. And the R&D it's taken this company 13 years. So the beauty of the stock market is, hey, these guys worked so hard to build this, and now we get the chance to invest in it and get the upside of this company as well. And they've put 239 million already to build this up. They've got 3 strategic partners: Intel, QuantumScape, and Cypress, and also 2 tier 1 customers who has apparently put funding into the company. And then customers have paid early access for enhanced product functionality, and I've currently got 89 issued patents with additional 54 pending. So yeah, you got to be relatively impressed when you look at all these stats about this company, that, hey, customers like it, the tech seems to be pretty solid. It's been tested, especially with the customers sampling it. They believe to be 5 years ahead of the current market situation right now, which is always amazing to find such a company. And yeah, top 5 customers engagement and sampling. So top 5 customers have placed a 240 million order already with them, and you can kind of see that revenue is going to just continue to grow as batteries are just grow in much more demand in the future. And in terms of the management team, you got to be impressed with these guys. Like, this guy, the CEO, has 58 patents under his name, CTO 77 patents, the VP of R&D 97 patents, and then this guy 103 patents. So yeah, in terms of innovation, these guys are not new to, like, just making something new and innovative. They've been there, they've made a lot of things that are new, hence why they have so many patents under their names. This guy 18 patents. So yeah, you can see, like, they're all pretty well educated, they've all designed stuff before, they've all got many patents under their name. So in terms of tech, you got to be relatively assured that, hey, these guys have been there, done it before, and I'm relatively very highly impressed about all the patents under these guys' names. So yeah, and this is just another graph of like where they're at. So in terms of battery tech, this is how this line here is how much battery tech has moved from the past, since the 90s all the way to now, and we're following this line here, whereas Innovex believes they're around about here, hence why they believe that by the time the market really catches up, it'll be about 5 years time before the conventional battery market actually catches them, which is which is what's amazing about this company. And if they can continue to prove out what they're doing, then I believe them to be a very, very valuable company. And in terms of their top 5 customer wins, it's in the laptop batteries, LAN, mobile radio, smartwatches, AR and VR, and yeah, this it adds up to contract values of about $240 million per year, which would be amazing once they get there. But of course, they do have to get there. So like this year, they're looking at about 7 million revenue, and then next year about 11 million revenue. So next about the next 24 months, there's not much happening in terms of revenues. But by the time they hit 2023, that's going to be that game-changing year when they make 176 million, and then 410 million in 2024, and then 800 million by 2025. So I'm really, really impressed by how much the revenue moves after 2023, and that's the kind of year that you're going to be wanting to be part of this company. But I think everyone's going to be pushing this price up very, very high very early on. So you won't by the time it reaches 2022, I don't think you get this company at a cheap level anymore. So the cool thing about buying into SPACs early is you just get a really, really cheap valuation really, really early on. And of course, you've got to wait during that time. You've got the risks as well. So risk and reward kind of approach. But yeah, like, looking at the stats and everything, I'm very, very highly impressed that this company, I think, kind of just offers something just much more better than what QuantumScape is offering up front. Especially at this valuation, I just wouldn't be able to justify QuantumScape at a 23 billion valuation. But at for Innovex, buying at this, if you buy into the SPAC at a 2.9 billion valuation post-merger, I can definitely justify it much, much more than I could ever justify QuantumScape. The batteries are the future, but of course, if you're doing an investment, you got to be able to justify that investment, and of course also the near-term cash flows in terms of revenues. And Innovex just impresses me every single part with the fact that the customers have used it, they're happy, they've even invested in the company, and then also the revenue ramp up from 2023 to 2025. That's just going to be very, very impressive. Of course, it's going to be a much more longer term company, as I think the share price will move up in the near term anyway. With anticipation, just like as we saw with QuantumScape, investors don't wait. Investors want to be in early. They want to get the cheap pricing before anyone else does. And QuantumScape is a big proof that, hey, the market's going to buy you up much earlier because they don't want to lose that opportunity. So that's why I believe Rodgers, Silicon Valley, in terms of my opinion anyway, is still a massive buy, because the company's just so lowly valued. Like this is a $14 base compared to most SPACs that started at a $10 base. I think these guys started at a $14 base, as they put right here. They issue shares for the private investors at $14. So I imagine the SPAC has also started at $14, and it looks to be around about $14. And it's moved to $26. So as opposed to most SPACs that start at 10, these guys start at 14. And are currently at $26.82. But I believe they could basically triple from here. So like at a 10 billion valuation, I think it's pretty fair, especially considering QuantumScape's at $23 billion. Like, I'm not going to say they're going to catch up to QuantumScape, but even if they're worth half of what QuantumScape is worth, it still very much justifies, what are we talking about, a $75 pricing, which is pretty high. But I think it's justified, especially given the situation they're in, the battery tech that they have. Yeah, they've been working on this for 13 years, so it's not something that another competitor can come in immediately and start to copy. And also, there's actually not that many battery makers out there who have, that has tech that is that innovative. And also, there's going to be such a large demand for batteries in the future that everyone else is just going to be struggling to produce just enough. So I wouldn't worry about competition to that extent. If you look at all the car makers right now, say like Tesla, they can't produce enough batteries to ramp up their products, hence why they are so delayed with some of their products, because they just don't have enough batteries to produce some of their products, say like their trucks and all that, which consume a large amount of batteries, hence why Tesla has had to start to innovate and have looked to silicon to innovate, which kind of gives you a shoot. That's a massive boost of confidence, especially to Innovex's technology. Let me know what your thoughts are. Is this a company that you would be looking at investing in? If you have any questions, just post below. Until then, good luck investing, everyone.